We're going to call the sky condition partly cloudy by this afternoon. We'll have a mix of sun and clouds. Surface high pressure to the north is going to sink to the south, and it will break apart a lot of the thicker clouds we're dealing with now. But we will not see the sky go completely clear until tonight after the sun sets. But we will have some intermittent sunshine this afternoon, just not as much as we would like. So by the time the clearing line moves completely through the area, the sun will have gotten ready to set, and that's when the temperatures will really plummet. We'll be back in the upper teens tonight, and a hard freeze warning, as you saw in the storm tracker, will exist for every single county tonight. So the high 35. Hopefully we'll get a lot of melting. If not, expect a refreeze and more travel problems tomorrow. We'll have a breezy north wind at 10 to 15 miles an hour. Tonight we fall between 16 and 20. The sky will go clear, and we will have full sunshine tomorrow, and then we'll warm up. The high 47 Thursday, back in the 60s Friday, and up to almost 70 by the weekend. More in your forecast and more news coming up after the break. Absolutely, Sarah, and to just go ahead and reiterate the advice already given, stay off the roadways today unless it's absolutely necessary for you to get on them. If you do, you got to drive cautiously because the temperatures will be below freezing through 10 a.m. We're not going to see a warming trend until this afternoon, and even then, the temperature will just barely get above freezing. We'll talk about it next. Welcome back. Your time 7:40. Hard freeze warnings up for every county in the viewing area for a while until 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. Temperatures are going to be dipping down into the hard freeze territory again tonight. They're going to dip down to a similar range to what we're seeing right now. Mid to lower 20s in Mobile and Pensacola, 19 in Evergreen. We factor in the breezy north winds, and it actually feels like 6 degrees outside in Mobile. 14, the current wind chill in Pensacola, 12 across Evergreen. Well, we've all seen the sleet and ice on the DOT cameras and from the reported pictures all morning. Now will we see it melt? Well, in the morning, no, because we're going to stay below freezing all the way through 10 o'clock. But by the time we hit noon, we'll get some peaks of sunshine through the clouds. Our sky will go partly cloudy. We'll hit 33 at noon, and then we'll max out at around 35 at 3 o'clock. So from about noon to 4, there'll be a 4-hour window where we will see some of that sleet and ice melt. The problem is I don't think we're going to have enough time to see all of it melt. So you're still going to have some slushy mess out there that's going to refreeze by 5 o'clock as the temperature dips back down below freezing, and then we're expecting a low tonight in the upper teens. Good news is, though, the winter storm is gone. But the sky is overcast. But if you look up towards northern Clark County, you're starting to get a few breaks in those clouds. Surface high pressure is getting closer and closer, and it's going to squander a lot of the thick cloud coverage, but it's not going to squander it all. Our sky will go partly cloudy this afternoon, and we will end up completely clear by tonight, but by then the sun will be long gone. High today 35. It is a cold day with a breezy north wind at 10 to 15 miles an hour. Tonight falling to 18, but then when the real warm up begins tomorrow, we max out at 47, then we're up to 62 Friday and up to almost 70 by Saturday. We'll talk more about the forecast in about 10 minutes, and Eric and Sarah, they'll have more news for you coming up after you see this. All right, thanks a lot, Matt. Here in the Fox 10 Storm Tracker Center, we are keeping our eye on the temperatures because the winter storm is gone, and we're not going to deal with any more precipitation today, but a hard freeze warning is up until 9 a.m. tomorrow, and because our highs are barely going to get above freezing today, and then they're going to plummet right back down to the teens overnight tonight. We'll summarize it for you and let you know what we are expecting for the end of the week and the weekend. A big warm-up will show up by then, and we'll talk about it next. Yeah, it is certainly safer to take the causeway over the Bayway. Avoid a bridge or an overpass if at all possible. And really, if you have no choice but to be on the roadways, try to find a road or a path that is flat. The flatter the road, the better. When you head up and down those hills, the inclines and declines can be disastrous. And we've heard many reports of people, once they try to get up those hills, they lose traction and then they end up skidding out. But as far as temperatures go, we are well below freezing this morning. 20 in the Port City, 22 in Pascagoula, Pensacola at 23, Fort Walton Beach 25. The winds are not making things feel any better. A 5 to 10 mile an hour north wind on the Panhandle, a 10 to 15 mile an hour wind farther to the west, and that's putting a wind chill value in Mobile at 6, a wind chill in Pensacola at 14, a wind chill in Fort Walton Beach of 12, and Pascagoula, your wind chill 11. All right, will the sleet and the ice melt? Well, this morning, no. Our sky is going to remain overcast and temperatures will stay below freezing. Now, this afternoon, we'll start to see some breaks in those clouds. Our sky will go partly cloudy, and we will see some intermittent sunshine. And the projected high this afternoon will be around 35. So are we going to see complete melting? No, but we'll get a little bit of it this afternoon. If you're getting ready to leave the house and your car is covered in ice, meteorologist Matt Barentine, he's standing by at the smart board. He did have some tips on that earlier, but for now he's going to show you the projected sleet, ice, and snowfall totals from the winter weather event that rolled through last night. Matt? That's right, Matt. And as far as the cloud coverage, we will see the sky go partly cloudy this afternoon, but clouds will still be around in general. We're not going to go completely clear until after 5 o'clock tonight. By that time, the sun's going to be long gone, and it won't matter because the temperatures will plummet all the way to 18 degrees, and any slush and sleet that's still out on the roadways has the possibility of refreezing, and that would make Thursday morning's commute not quite as bad as today, but it would still be kind of rough. 35 going to be the high this afternoon. We're keeping our fingers crossed for as much sunshine as we can get. We'll get a couple hours of it intermittent in the afternoon with a breezy north wind at 10 to 15 miles an hour. Tonight clear, and we deal with a hard freeze. Lows fall between 16 and 20, and then up on the 7-day planner, sunshine and a real warm-up coming our way tomorrow with a high of 47, back in the 60s tomorrow, and up to almost 70 by the weekend. More in your forecast coming up in our 8 a.m. hour, and Eric and Sarah are going to start that next. Michael? Thanks a lot, Eric. I'm meteorologist Michael White here in the Fox 10 Storm Tracker Center. A hard freeze warning is going to be up all the way until tomorrow morning. The precipitation's gone, but the cold temperatures remain. Will we see the sleet and ice melt? We'll talk about it as Fox 10 News at 8 a.m. starts now. Well, Sarah, unfortunately, it looks like it's going to last for most of the day. Temperatures right now are still well below freezing, and you need temperatures above freezing to melt the sleet and the ice. Right now, we're sitting in the lower 20s. Now, the airports are reporting sunshine, but you got to understand they're not factoring in the high-level cloud coverage. Our sky is overcast around the entire Gulf Coast, and it's going to stay that way through midday today. Now, it is feeling like 6 degrees in Mobile when you factor in that north wind at 15. Pensacola, you're feeling like 12 degrees when you factor in a north wind showing up at 12 miles per hour. Now, the winter storm warnings are gone, but the hard freeze warnings are up, and they're going to be around till 9 a.m. tomorrow because lows this evening are going to plummet down into the upper teens, and highs today are only going to hit the mid-30s. So will we get a little melting? Yes, but just a little bit. And we're only going to have a 4-hour window this afternoon where we can see that because temperatures will stay below freezing all the way through 10 a.m. And it's going to be between about noon and 4 that we have a chance to see that nastiness out there melt. We will talk more about that in your full forecast and let you know about a big warm-up that comes our way starting tomorrow. Details in just a bit, guys. Thanks a lot, Eric. Right now, we are seeing a dry storm tracker radar, which is great news. No additional winter precipitation going to be taking place today, but will we see that sleet and ice mess begin to melt? Well, temperatures aren't going to warm that much. We'll talk about it in your forecast next. And as we look live at the Fox 10 Storm Tracker radar, only southern Okaloosa County still dealing with just a little bit of sleet right around Destin, Fort Walton Beach, and Niceville. We just saw this sort of move on shore in the last 10 minutes, but for everyone else, you're dry and you're projecting to stay that way. The other problem is that the temperatures aren't really going to be budging that much. Even though the winter storm is gone, temperatures are still sitting well below freezing, so you're not going to see that sleet or ice melt anytime soon. Here's a live look off our DOT camera. This is on I-10 right at the Water Street exit, and what a mess. I mean, this is why I've been telling you got to avoid, if possible, the roadways in general. But if you have to drive, don't go on anything with an incline, a decline, or a bridge or an overpass. And this is I-10 eastbound, and gosh, these 18-wheelers have been stuck in that position for, I think, the last hour. They tried to make that curve into the Wallace Tunnel, and I mean, we see accidents on that on a 75-degree sunshine day, much less on a day where we're dealing with ice, and it's just an absolute mess. Stay off the roadways if at all possible, but if you have no choice but to drive, do everything you can to take a path that has as flat of road line as possible. No curves, no inclines, no declines, and no bridges or overpasses. I know sometimes that's hard to do, but if you can find any route that's as flat as possible, that is going to help you make it to your destination safely. Wind chills, very cold. 8 degrees is what it feels like in Mobile, 12 in Pensacola, 11 in Evergreen. Projected high today going to be 35. So here's the problem. Our sky is overcast right now. We'll start to get some sunshine as we hit midday today. We'll go from being cloudy to partly cloudy, and then the projected temperature will be about 33. The projected high today, 35. So from about noon to 4, we'll have some melting taking place, but it's not going to be enough time to melt all of it. And then at 5 o'clock, any slush and sleet that's still out there will refreeze with a projected temperature of 31. And we need to hope our sky goes partly cloudy, because if it stays overcast like that, we may not get above freezing. But model guidance says we will. As surface high pressure builds in closer and closer to the Gulf Coast, it will eat up a lot of the thicker clouds, and we will start to see some sunshine intermittent this afternoon. So a high of 35 with a breezy north wind. Tonight, very cold, and we will be under a hard freeze warning with a low of 18. But then sunshine and a real warm-up coming our way tomorrow with a high of 47, 62 for Friday, and almost 70 by Saturday. More in your weather and more in your news coming up after you see this. And welcome back. Your time is 8:31. We do not have any more winter nastiness to deal with, at least as far as precipitation. The sleet and the ice, that's over. But we still have it on the roadways, and we are under a hard freeze warning until 9 a.m. tomorrow. The big question is, will we see the sleet and ice that has fallen melt? Well, this morning, no way. Temperatures are way too cold for that to happen. 20 right now in Mobile, 22 across Pascagoula and Brooklyn, 23 in Pensacola, 25 in Fort Walton Beach. But the wind flow is extremely breezy, and that makes being outside even more painful than just the air temperature alone. That's making the temperatures feel like they're at 12 degrees in Pensacola and Fort Walton Beach, 11 in Evergreen, Mobile, and Pascagoula. Wind chill values for you at 8. And our projected high for today only going to be 35, so we will get above freezing, but only for about 4 hours. From about noon to 4 we will, but with the sky remaining overcast like this, there's no way it's going to happen. What we need is for the clouds to begin to break apart, and based on model guidance, that will happen as surface high pressure gets closer. Our sky will go from being cloudy this morning to partly cloudy this afternoon. So with the intermittent sunshine, temperatures will get just above freezing a little bit. That will give us a little bit of melting, but unfortunately it won't melt everything. And then temperatures will bottom out at 18 tonight. So the roadways, unfortunately, if there's still sleet and some slush on them, they will end up refreezing. As far as the Futurecast model, no precipitation, and the sky will end up going completely clear. But unfortunately, that's going to happen after the sun sets, and it'll be too late to see widespread melting. And after that point, the temperatures are just going to free fall back down to the teens. High this afternoon, 35. The sky will be partly sunny with a breezy north wind. Tonight we'll dip down between 16 and 20. We do go clear, but we'll be under a hard freeze warning. And up on the 7-day planner, tomorrow is when we're going to have a full batch of sunshine and some much warmer temperatures. Who would have thought we'd be excited about 47 on the Gulf Coast? But that sounds awesome right about now. That's what we'll have tomorrow, 62 on Friday, and up to almost 70 over your weekend. More on that forecast coming up a little bit later. Guys?